life hacks have been exploited so much that they no longer work. Story 1. I remember in the early days of eBay, you could search for misspellings of items you were interested in, and most of the time you could get it for cheap. Once everyone caught on to this, it was game over. And now eBay has vastly improved search functionality. Still, we'll never forget that screaming deal I got on that vacuum cleaner. Edit removed a word. Story 2. After it went viral that the Toy Story characters would fall down on the ground at Disney World Land when you shouted, "Andy's coming," they stopped doing it. Story 3. I read something that a person could just order a bunch of 1 coins from the US Mint, and you would just pay the face value, no shipping handling, since they wanted to get more on the market. Well, one guy would buy thousands and thousands of dollars on his credit card and just pay his credit card bill with the dollar coins to rack in millions of airline miles. Pretty smart if you ask me. Story 4. Tricking parking garages. Used to be in the older days when you went into a pay parking garage, you got a ticket for your car. When you would leave, you put the ticket in the machine, and it calculates how much you owe. They still do that. Thing is, in the olden days, you could simply walk by the gate, get a new ticket, and then walk to your car and drive out using the new ticket, and the system thought you were only in there for like 30 seconds. These days, they put weight sensors under the ticket area, so they want to dispense a ticket unless there is actually a car sitting on top of it. Edit. Okay, it's a magnetic sensor, not a weight sensor. Point still stands. There is a sensor there to stop that kind of thing now. And apparently the UK reads license plates now. Story 5. In some games that involved waiting some amount of time, you used to be able to change the clock in your device into the future and unlock the item whatever it is you were waiting for, and then revert your time and still maintain the item. Unfortunately, now you have to wait at it. I guess the consensus is that Nintendo games still allow you to do this most of the time. Story 6. Calling the cable company to cancel to get a lower rate. It will still work, but you have to commit to cutting the cable. They used to fold at the mention of leaving. Story 7. Talking to the manager was once an honest-hearted method of kindly discussing an advanced issue with someone in the chain of command who can make decisions. Now, it's just something that baby boomers immediately request when they want something. Story 8. There was a gym by my university that was expensive, but since it was in Nicaragua, was about the best one available at the time. I paid for the membership once, then realized they never checked your membership through the back door. Since the trainers all knew me by then, I stopped paying for the membership and just walked in through the back door and acted like I belonged. I did this for like 2 years before the place rebranded and changed ownership and added a check-in kiosk through the back door because I'd share my secret with a few too many people. But by then I had finished my career. Story 9. Thrift shopping back in college. We used to be able to go to a few local thrift stores, Goodwill, Salvation Army, etc., and find great deals. Allen Edmond dress shoes for $9.99. Gently worn dress shirts and pants for $3 to $5 each. Used to go probably 2 a month and build up a pretty decent wardrobe for my internship first job. Sometimes would even find things with tags on them still. Now, after thrifting got popular, prices went up. Dress shoes are now around 15 to 20, and shirt pants are often 10 to 12 for questionable quality and often very dated styles. If you use coupons, you can often get better prices at Kohl's and other department stores and at thrift stores now. Story 10. If watching The Incredibles 300 times with my child taught me anything, it's that when everyone's super evil Jason Lee laugh, no one will be. A college degree is an example of that. Story 11. Downloading a copy of college textbook, codes, and CDs means you have to buy your own. Not really a life hack, but one time my aunt bought a holiday special edition diamond ring retails at $200 for $10 at Goodwill. After finding out the worth online, my imbecile of an aunt went back to Goodwill to tell them what it was worth. Ever since then, they have been researching the value of their donations and have pricing them appropriately. Story 12. Our local pizza chain used to sell fundraiser stickers that let you do a buy one, get one free deal. Everyone had one, but my dad soon found out that most of the restaurants never even asked for the sticker when you want to pick up your order, so he would always say to keep the sticker in your pocket unless they asked for it. Furthermore, if they did ask for the sticker, they never checked expiration date on them. We got so much free pizza that way. They have now switched to a loyalty card method that is required for checkout, and expiration dates are stored in the computer. Story 13. Using coupons. They still save you money, but less than they used to, and it takes more work than it used to. Those couponing TV shows ruined it for everyone by making all the tricks and secrets way to public. Companies and stores are not in the business of losing money, and when it was a small number of people using coupons to an extreme amount, then it wasn't so bad for them. Now, a lot of people doing it make it that they start making coupons worth less and harder to use. Story 14. Leaving the tailgate down on your truck when driving toll roads so the camera can't get a picture of your license plate, at least for the folks that only required one license plate on the rear of the vehicle. Now, they have cameras at waist level to combat that issue. Story 15, I had free HBO for a decade from Comcast. Used to call them and say I was going to cancel service unless they give me HBO free for 6 months. I did that for so long that the last time I called, the guy read a note that was added to my account saying I've been getting HBO for free since 2009 and that I should be transferred to the canceling service folks if I ask for it again. Now I just watch HBO shows on 123 movies. Story 16, when Lyft was starting in my area, they did this promotion where when you signed up you received 50 free rides. Well, during this time, I discovered the Google phone app where you could create a new phone number linked to a Gmail account. I ended up having like 200 free rides. I took them to work, to my girlfriend's house, grocery store, you name it. My car wasn't touched for a month because I didn't need it. After those 3 to 4 weeks, Lyft caught on and banned me and my credit cards from the app. I can't even hail a Lyft ride when I give someone else my car to put into their account. Story 17, approaching girls from out in left field in order to generate conversation. Those pickup kings made too many videos about just getting numbers. They play the numbers game and screw it up for anyone generally interested in a particular pretty girl. I'm half joking, I never have enough to approach a group of girls, huh? Story 18, the vending machine in my apartment accepted dollar coins, but would return it right back. So all I needed was a single coin and run it through the slot twice to get something and would also get the change back for my $2. Did this a few times a month to check it was still working broken. I ended up just leaving the change behind for someone else to use. The machine, unsurprisingly, has been turned off and is no longer serviced, edited to clarify sarcasm. Story 19, when a bathroom has 3 cubicles, the middle one is likely the cleanest because fewer people are likely to use it. Pretty sure enough people have begun capitalizing on it, such that it's likely to be as dirty as the others, if not dirtier. Story 20, sneaking candy and soda into the movie theater. About 2 years ago, my local theater decided that they wanted to hire the TSA rejects to search for weapons PFFFFF. Story 21, we were at the mall. We're sitting next to a group teens who I guess learned about the no salt on the fries thing. So you get fresh ones. A girl had to wait for a new batch of fries while her friends were eating because she insisted on having no salt. As she waited, I sat and watched her pick at her friend's salted fries because they were fresh. Story 22, using someone's first name several times after meeting them in conversation in order to get them to like and trust you more. It may now even have the opposite effect, MO. Story 23, supposedly, Super Bowl Sunday used to be a great day to visit Disneyland. Now it's one of the most crowded days in the off-season, though I'm fairly certain that Disney created, or at the very least, published the Super Bowl myth to attract more crowds. Story 24, anti-vaccination. I'm sure the first 2 or 3 families who went that route could have said, since everyone else on the block is vaccinated, herd immunity will protect us. But now that so many people are being stupid, herd immunity is being compromised in a lot of communities. Story 25, there were a lot of apps on the iOS store that had free features that Apple never included. There was a screen recorder, flashlight before Apple officially added the flashlight in the control panel, and even an app that did everything YouTube Red did. But it was free. Those are the days. Eventually, they removed all of these things from the App Store, and now you have to pay to get a shittier version of what you had years before. If you were lucky enough to download the free apps before they were taken down from the store, you could still use them until an iOS updated rendered them useless. I still use an ad blocker for the YouTube app that was removed a couple months ago. Works like a charm and has saved me 5 gigs of data. You Apple, you greedy pieces of. This was a specific life hack, but it worked well in college. Many assignments were to be submitted online by a certain time. Usually 12 a.m. midnight. The website would think you submitted the assignment when you first click the Choose File button. This button opens up a folder that shows the files on your computer. You find your file, click OK. Then it is submitted. If you click Choose File button at, say, 11:50 p.m., as long as you didn't close it, you could actually upload the file the next day or several days later, and it'd still think it was uploaded at 11:50 p.m. I turned in many assignments on time, even though I finished them well after they were due. Professors were confused as to why my assignment wouldn't show up for a day or 2, then magically it'd show up. And this happened for many assignments. I just blamed it on the school's internet is slow, I guess, although they finally fixed it near the end of the year. Story 26, collect calling someone, but simply recording a message instead of having them accept the call. You have a collect call from Yo Dude. Come to Mike's house. Party, do you accept these charges? Click. Story 27, begging for money with signs that say I'm too ugly to strip or I need money for booze and drugs. That never rubbed me the right way, and it seems friends are starting to feel the same way. Story 28, super couponers. If you consider their practice a life hack, my stepmother is one. Nowhere near TV level, but once those TV shows came out, all the companies that put out coupons rolled back on giving them out, and made them super specific. Story 29, you can only have with the woman on top and not get her pregnant so many times. Eventually, gravity switches the polarity and the fly up, which they're not supposed to do, and she can totes get preggers, bruh. Story 30, a few years back, if you left a cell phone charger at a hotel, you could go to the front desk and ask to see their box of lost found chargers. I lost a cell phone charger in my room when I was here last time. Some hotels would bring out a box, and you could go through it. Now, they all know that it's a profit center and high margin, so they sell cell phone chargers in the gift shop, and the box of free chargers is usually gone. Story 31, editing the formatting on a paper to make it longer. When word processing first came out, since not everyone knew you could do these things, there was exploitation of the formatting to extend certain non-obvious components of a paper, like the period at the end of a sentence. Now, everybody has to take classes on these programs, and it's all known. Story 32, this wasn't even that long ago, but using Google Maps to find alternate routes to avoid giant traffic jams on highways. Nowadays, because everyone has a smartphone and is using Google Maps, even the alternate routes quickly become congested as well. I used to smile with glee as I got on the exit ramp and didn't see any cars following me. Now I barely even bother taking the alternate routes. Why trade one traffic jam for another? Story 33, asking a professor for a better grade if I'm on the border. Everyone does it, and I did it so much that I became notorious within my department as a student who always fought his grade. Story 34, the old my dog is a service dog bullshit. People in Los Angeles abuse this privilege, especially because everyone here owns a dog. Now, businesses are quick to ask if it's ADA or emotional support, one of which is not allowed in certain spaces. Story 35, applying to a ton of random scholarships that nobody else even applies to, only need a handful of people, even at the local level, to take this advice, and suddenly there's real competition, and with sites like CapEx and FastWeb, there's more than a handful of people applying to every scholarship in the country. Story 36, in Australia, there's a promo app for our version of Burger King called Hungry Jack's. The app is called Shake and Win, and when your GPS puts you within a certain radius of a HJ store, you can shake the phone to receive a freebie. It's a random freebie, and some of them are just worthless discounts, but there were a few that actually gave you free food, including the rare grand prize of free Whopper Burger. When the app first came out, the only restrictions were one shake per store per day. It didn't take long for me and a group of friends to start GPS spoofing our phones to visit dozens of stores around Australia. We would sit in the dining room with our phones out shaking until someone got a free food prize, then go up and claim it and pool the food together. We did this for months before they caught on and restricted it to one shake per day total. Eventually, they even removed most of the free food prizes, and now the app is worthless. Story 37, going on YouTube on Safari. Then before an ad came up, hit the full screen button, then you could keep hitting the skip button to skip the ad without waiting for it to end. Now it's been fixed. Story 38, Walmart no longer accepts coupons from competitors for oil changes. The store I go to said it was because of me. I would find coupons for $12.99 oil changes, then buy my own oil from Walmart for $19.99 for the big jug, and they would deduct that from the price of the oil changes. Past few years, Walmart paid me to have them change my oil $12.99 to $19.99. I got paid $7. Story 39, I saw one ages ago that said ask for no salt on your fries at McDonald's. To get fresher fries, the thing is, this doesn't work when it's busy since the employees need to take extra time to set a fresh batch aside and hand scoop them into a fry box, which takes much longer. This means fries with no salt were generally less fresh also. If it wasn't busy, and there were no fries currently busy, it meant we had to put a whole fresh batch down and wait for them to fry, which took up to like 3 minutes. Not worth it in my opinion. Just get the fries as they come. They're all fresh anyways since we have to throw them out after a certain amount of time. Story 40, not sure if it counts, but using a VPN on Netflix. I used to watch Parks and Rec on Irish Netflix using a VPN. When Netflix copped on and wouldn't let you stream anymore, I got so pissed off I still haven't finished the series. Story 41, anything being called a cheap cut of meat. I miss the days of two 50-pound skirt steak. Now it's the same price as New York strip. The more clueless food bloggers out there, i.e., people who don't cook, but still write about cooking somehow, still push skirt and flank steak as cheap cuts of meat. Story 42, when I was in college, they had these deals where if you signed up for a trial Netflix account, you could get a 10 gift code for Papa John's. I would use various email addresses to create new trials and would get the codes every time. Not only did I get free Netflix for a while, but I also got free pizza. Story 43, getting a change of address packet from the post office for the 10 off Lowe's coupon. I picked one up last week, and the coupon is now only good for window shades and blinds. I'm guessing they caught on. Story 44. In the good old days of the early internet, you could hack sites by just putting members gallery 1 or something along those lines after the web address, because why pay for on the internet? Story 45. A few years ago, someone posted a story about a coffee shop that did a nice thing. When someone's card was declined, they'd give them the drink on the house and discreetly let them know the card was declined. Saves the customer embarrassment and gave the business grateful repeat customers. A nice system that benefited all around. That was until word got out. People started purposely using cards they knew were bad. There were enough serial abusers that they caught on and stopped the practice, and a few shameless customers actually demanded to speak to a manager because they deserved a free drink. A perfectly nice system ruined by. That story was the catalyst that helped me define what an is, along with a few other pejorative terms. And as a person that takes advantage of a courtesy or nicety without reciprocation, A is similar to an, but they want special treatment beyond common courtesy. A is someone that gets pleasure by causing annoyance. A masculine is someone that continues to give courtesies to someone that has proven to be in, and a feminine is someone that refuses to give common courtesies to anyone. I've got more, but I'm detracting from my original point. What I'm trying to say is this thread is full of Story 46. Understanding how to write up a resume, so it would hit enough keywords to get past a computer and into a person's hands. Now you need to do this just to get into the large pile of resumes to be mined by a computer. Story 47. Upon entering a large public restroom like at an airport, use the very first stall closest to the door, especially if it's right against the entrance. It's typically the least used because it's not in one's line of sight, thus cleaner and less chance of running out of TP. Story 48. When you forget someone's name and you ask what's your name, and they tell you, albeit a little disappointed, and you respond with no, your last name, yeah, that doesn't work anymore. Just own up and say you forgot their name. Story 49. Expense accounts. Restaurants would regularly overcharge and ring in extra items that we would give the customer in booze, so that their bosses wouldn't busy them. Since then, I've seen everything from companies requesting photocopies of the actual receipts to maximums on food and liquor. Story 50. Free drinks at Starbucks on your birthday. You now have to have at least purchased one drink through the app to get a free drink on your birthday. It used to be that you could make a different accounts as many times as you want, and you'd set your birthday to whatever date and get the free drink reward. Story 51. In McDonald's, if you sing "da-da, da-da-da" to the tune of the McDonald's advertisement song at the server, they would have to say to you, "I'm loving it." Story 52. Thrift shops and secondhand clothing stores to find cheap, yet decent clothes. It became the popular thing to do for people with money for some stupid reason. Story 53. Reddit hack. Quickly put a creative reply to a trending on subreddit. No longer does that work when Reddit exploits push notifications, and the trending post on subreddit has only 100 upvotes and 90 comments. Story 54. Using your student ID long after you're no longer a student to get discounts on things. Maybe it's just where I was living at the time, but it went from no one checked that your ID was actually valid, they just required a quick flash of it for proof, to everyone checked every time real quick. I had a student ID with no end date for a while, even that got turned away eventually. Story 55. The laundry machines at an apartment complex. I lived and used reloadable cards that you topped off at a little machine that only took debit cards. I discovered that the machine didn't actually connect to a server in real time to authorize a transaction. Instead, it for some reason just kept a log and did a batch processing of the payments once a week. So, if a nefarious individual were so inclined, they could use a prepaid Visa gift card with no money left on it to buy laundry credit, and the machine would let it happen until it processed the batch up to a week later. After that, it would flag the bad card, and it wouldn't work anymore. But of course, you could just do it again with a new empty card the next week. I just bought prepaid cards and used them for my online shopping, then saved up a pile of them to keep the scheme going. I told my roommates about it, and between the three of us, we never paid to do laundry for the year we lived there. They finally caught on and changed whatever needed to be changed to prevent this from working. We were moving out the next week. So really, I found it more amusing that they had to pay to fix a problem that was about to go away on its own. Normally, I'm not too shady, but they were charging like $4 to wash and $2 for 15 minutes of dryer time. Even more for the oversized machines. So doing your clothes and bedding really added up fast. Our rent was astronomical, and they pulled shady on us all the time, including us renewing our lease, then them coming and handing back our check, and saying we had 2 days to get out because they found someone willing to pay more. I have no guilt about screwing them out of overpriced laundry that should have been free for what we were paying to live there, single rider lanes. Story 56. In the 1980s, there were some grocery stores that did not use barcode scanning, You could hand the clerk a stack of coupons for anything, and there was no easy way to see if you actually had the items. People could get 100 of food for 20. I heard about this from a friend. I was not yet of shopping age. Story 57 Toonk doubles with mac sauce and fries, and a small drink being less than a Big Mac. The new pricing is designed specifically to prevent this, and I therefore refuse to shop there anymore for them specifically going after my specific order and doubling the price overnight. Story 58, I think at Walmart you used to be able to scan your items and then cancel the purchase, but it would still print a receipt. Then you could just leave with a whole cart full of items without anyone stopping you if the sensor thingy goes off, because you have a receipt. I think they fixed it once they caught on. Story 59, exchanging coins at vending machine. Sometimes when I have too many small value coins, I can put into the vending machine to exchange it. 5 20-cent coins give you $1 coin, which will be much easier to carry around. Though this trick can still work in many vending machines, most of the new ones I see today will return exactly what you put in. Story 60, there's this chain of gas stations convenience stores that also sells fried chicken called Royal Farms and MDDEVA, and they had this app where you could earn points by playing a card matching game. Those points could be redeemed for chicken tender meals, drinks, coffee, etc. Maybe some of you are familiar. Me and my friends would play the card game. You could play once per day, every day, and would always use the points after school and stuff. When you redeemed the points, it would present a coupon with a barcode. Well, we soon figured out you could screenshot the barcodes, and the cashiers were none the wiser or just didn't care. Eventually, the company caught on, as most high schoolers in our town were doing it. They then added a countdown timer to the coupons. This was harder to get around, because this was before iOS could screen record. Well, my friend found an app that would screen record, and again, they were none the wiser. Eventually, they put the timer and the date you redeemed it on there. This almost all but shut it down, but we learned the stores and cashiers that didn't care. Flash forward to about a year ago, Royal Farms came out with a loyalty card that you have to swipe to redeem your points, and they've done away completely with barcode scanning. The loyalty card knows how many points you have, and the cashier enters the coupon for you. Not exactly a well-known LPT, but me and my friends were proud of ourselves imagining the execs sitting around a coffee table trying to figure out how all these coupons were being redeemed. Story 61, just being nice to people, treating them with openness and equality, generosity, just for the sake of helping out another human being. Best life hack ever. Yet an unfortunate amount of people see that as weakness, a sign of naivete, something to exploit. No, actually I'm not naive in the slightest. I'm just doing my small part to be the change I'd like to see in the world. Story 62, quite a while ago, I want to say 10 years, you could do video game exchange upgrades at Target. Buy a PC game for 10, exchange it the next day for a different 60 game. It was crazy. I kind of felt bad about doing it. Story 63, using Reddit for cool, new, and relevant conversation topics. Now, you mentioned something from Reddit and chances are someone else, if not everyone else, has seen it already. Story 64, putting nail varnish on public phone card British Telecom to get unlimited phone calls, because the phone couldn't print on those little black lines each time you made a call. Story 65, back when Netflix just took your word that you were in the country you said you were in. Now, I just do it with Nintendo and put down an Alaska zip code to skip on taxes, not in the US. Story 66, taking the entire bottom row of vending machines. You young people won't understand, but it used to be easy to steal from every vending machine on Earth. My entire youth was spent getting free soda from pop machines, using Columbia or BMG CD Club, and sending it to other apartments in the building with wrong names on them. First 6 CDs were free. CD were too big to fit in mailboxes. Postman would leave them on top of the community boxes. Looks like Mr. Alex and App 202 doesn't want Nirvana today. Must be mine. Story 67, not that long ago, you could create as many throwaway emails as you wanted with almost any email provider, but now most of them require a phone number in order to create an account. Story 68, those spam ads that would tell you you could get a free plasma TV or other expensive item by doing an offer and referring X people to do the same. The model was based on 95 of people not seeing it through to the very end, but if you did, you actually would get the item. I got a laptop, plasma TV, PS3, Wii, etc. for like a fraction of the cost by guiding my friends through the process and bribing them. Eventually, though, someone wrote an ebook about it and the community around it, which drove up the completion rate to the point that companies stopped doing it or made it so convoluted that it wasn't worth it. Story 69, Yelling Andy is coming. When near Toy Story characters in Disney parks, they used to fall over, but then everyone started doing it, and now they get kind of mad when you ask. Story 70, buying a lot of company stock whenever they hit bad luck publicity. No one's stock ever really crashes anymore because everyone buys it immediately after any trace of bad news. Buy low, sell high. Story 71, having teachers or professors who don't understand computers. In the early days of electronic submission, you could intentionally submit a corrupted file or blank floppy, and the professor would blame it on the computer and tell you to resubmit. I remember in law school, I had a blow-off night class where the adjunct professor wanted us to write a ridiculously long paper. I wasn't finished with the paper on the due date, so saved the Word file to an old hard drive that corrupted every file that was saved on it and turned that in. When the file was opened, it showed what looked like a paper, but with the formatting off and random characters everywhere, before it caused Word to crash. The next week in class, I was informed by the professor that what I submitted wasn't working, and could I resubmit? After which a girl I didn't even know said that there were problems with the school's email servers corrupting attachments, which was kind of true, but only really applied to mass emails from the school. I'd imagine that that trick has been used to death by now, and that the number of older teachers completely clueless about technology is much less than it once was. Story 72, I was putting old pound coins in my Eunice coffee machines for about 6 weeks before they patched it. Saved myself either a good 40 quid or a trip to wherever it is that exchanges them. Wonder if it still works on parking meters. Story 73, when you open a Netflix account, they ask for your credit card information but won't charge you until the trial period is over. I used an app called Kite Cash to make temporary credit cards and a temporary email ID to get Netflix for free. Now, they've patched it. Now it charges for even a free account. Story 74, my wife will argue with you till she's blue, but the 20 under driver's license trick at Las Vegas hotels, you're supposed to fold up a 20 and put it under your ID when you check in. Then the desk person is supposed to slide the ID over to their side and pick at the 20. The deal then is that they will provide you with a complimentary room upgrade and buffet voucher. In reality, one, I do the 20 trick because my wife insists to the attendant take the 20 and says, gee, thanks, 3 husha, then proceeds to check me in and not give me anything. I think ask if they have anything special, to which they say no, we aren't allowed to give things like that. But here's a 10 off coupon to Cirque du Soleil. This has happened to me 3 times. LOL, it doesn't work. Story 75, you used to be able to buy coins from the U.S. Mint at face value with a credit card and earn airline miles. Credit card companies wised up by now, though. Story 76, I know I'm pretty late to this party, but when McDonald's sends out their coupon books in the mail, they always include a buy one, get one free McMuffin coupon. One day, I was buying breakfast for my coworkers and decided to get them McDonald's. I went to the self-serve kiosks, and it only required me to scan the coupon. Then I could pay for my McMuffin and get another free. They never asked for the coupon when I went to pick up my food. So long story short, I got like 20 McMuffins for half price. Story 77, there was a certain tech and computer part website that's still really popular and has a picture of an wee egg that had an error in their shopping cart system. If you downloaded a local copy of the page and changed the price, you could load the page and submit your order, which would submit the modified price to the backend server. This server didn't check and would just accept the price. Now, it checks. Consequently, you used to be able to modify the HTML of a page to show a new price for all item, print the page, and bring it to the store to get them a price match. Now, they look it up online. Story 78, I used to live in a sketchy trailer park, and most pizza places wouldn't deliver after 5 p.m. I would order online and get a call saying that if came to pick it up, the order would be free. I did this until they caught on. Story 79, stoozing. This is where you transfer money from a credit card with a promotional 0 rate into a bank account. Leave it in there until the promotion is about to expire. Then use it to pay off the card. You pay 0 interest on the card and pocket whatever interest the bank account paid you. You could also keep this going by keeping the money in the bank account and transferring the card balance to another credit card with a 0 promo rate. I made over $700 doing a combination of these two things. The card companies caught on in the UK at least, and now you're charged a fee, typically 2 to 3, to transfer balances to bank accounts or from other cards. This totally outweighs the now paltry interest you'll get from a bank account, so it doesn't work anymore. Story 80, making your own barcodes. You could make anything free or 99 off at will, and it was amazing for a few years. It was box, TVs, candy, anything was free. Then the stores caught on, and the big ticket items gained security. Now you can still go for small price items like candy, but for the amount of work compared to the payout isn't worth the time. Just pay the $50. Story 81, used to when dealing with an automated phone menu. You could just keep pressing 0, and eventually it would skip you all the way to talk to a real human. I've tried that recently with several companies who have maddeningly long automated menus that never take me to the correct place. And now the evil robot lady just says, I'm sorry, I didn't get that. Story 82. Back in college, when I was going for my engineering degree, you used to get the answers off Wiley Plus for online assignments. All you had to do was duplicate the tab of question you were on, guess an answer on the new tab, get it right or wrong, it would show you the answer, then put the right answer into the original tab. It saved my through school. I tried showing a younger student this a few years after I took the classes, and the workaround was fixed. Edit apparently Chegg is less useful too. Used to get a lot of answers off there, but apparently teachers smarten up and starting making their own questions rather than use book questions. Story 83. I bet that can I get less salt on the fries to get hot fries. If you really needed to watch the sodium, you wouldn't shall be at a fast food place anyways, but I bet they either just start doing 2 batches or fries, or do they just give everyone the same fries.